I was lucky enough to live in a small town in the middle of nowhere, but that had a really great venue going when I was about 14 years old. Found the flyers running around high school, middle school. Walked down to check it out because there was nothing else to do. Went to a couple shows, just fell in love with it. It was meant for me. Started traveling, the rest is history. Barricade started in 2004. It was a side project of another band I was doing that didn't end up doing anything. And Barricade, which was never meant to do anything, ended up taking me all over the country and pretty much really making me become, I guess, a lifer in this scene. Started out just 5 guys in my garage and went through a bunch of member changes, but by 2006 we started touring, put out a couple records, and it was a real good time. Honestly, some of the best times of my life.
What was the lineup was?
I did the math. I think we've had 20 members. I'm not going to name them all, but
go through a light tree.
Yeah, what's that?
Go through a light tree of it then.
The original lineup was my best friend since T-ball, Ryan Schwankinson. He's still in it. Still plays with Animalhaus. You know, we've pretty much done everything together since we were kids. We had a guy named Chris who didn't last very long. He was quickly replaced by Tommy T, who did every Barricade tour and recorded on all the records. And another childhood friend of mine, Grano, played bass. He only lasted about 2 years before he was out, and we got Mr. John Barlow, the singer of Animalhaus. And we went through a myriad of drummers, and I don't think any of which are worth mentioning, except maybe Jimmy Houston, who was at the very tail end of Barricade, but stayed on to take Buckles' place in Animalhaus. Animalhaus, when we were on Barricade tours, you know, we love hardcore. Everybody loves, you know, obviously everybody in the band loved hardcore. That's what we played. But Animalhaus was, you know, John and me would sit in the van real late at night and talk about, you know, John, we would listen to punk rock in the van. We'd be like, oh, we got to do like a punk rock influence, sort of hardcore, sort of whatever it may be, oi, you know, band. And we talked about it. I want to say we started talking about it probably in 2007. And, you know, just never did it. It was always talked about. I think John even named it Animalhaus years prior to it even becoming a band. And then right at the tail end of Barricade, you know, winding down, we just really, you know, none of us could do the road anymore. Everybody got serious jobs. John approached me about actually doing Animalhaus, and I really didn't give it any thought. I was trying to start another hardcore band that I was going to sing for, but had a band practice for that hardcore band. It sucked. We didn't want to do anything. So I went the next day to the first Animalhaus practice, and by the end of practice we had 3 songs, and you know, it just clicked. It was right. You know, we knew we wanted to do that. You know, we quickly dropped a demo. I think we made like 1,000 copies plus of that demo and put them in sandwich baggies and forced them on people at the first East Coast Tsunami Fest. And that's how we got the word out on the band. I mean, literally, we had people throwing them in car windows as people were leaving the field for the first night of that fest. So that was pretty cool. You know, and you know, the band just kind of took off and did it right from there. You know, kind of doing something that not everybody else is doing, but people seem to be really receptive of it. Every single one of my friends, 99% of my relationships, you know, with just people in general. I mean, everybody has their childhood friends growing up, but I mean, majority of my childhood friends ended up falling into the hardcore scene anyway. And touring was the best times of my life. I mean, I love the fact that, you know, I can travel from business to the Midwest and friends there. I mean, I owe that all to the network of hardcore. It all roots back to PA. You know, PA is a well-respected, you know, older scene, and you know, we're so tight with ourselves that we naturally branch out to everywhere else. You know, people feel invited and welcome when they're here. Absolutely, I think it's a bum rap because, you know, we've had bands since, you know, the start of it too. Just maybe nothing that broke right away, but I mean, classic great bands, and then especially come, you know, the mid '90s and late '90s. You know, we had these fucking legendary bands to us that never really seemed to maybe break out of the scene. And yeah, it's an absolute bum rap because, you know, Pennsylvania has produced and continues to produce some of the best bands in the world. And, you know, yeah, some break out and some get known, but I mean, overall, yeah, we get lost in the shuffle. And it's, you know, You know why? You know why that is? You know, locationally, think about what you said. Boston, New York, D.C., Jersey. I mean, Pennsylvania is the heart of the East Coast as far as I'm concerned. And why not meet in the middle? You know, I think that's location. Oh, man. I mean, I've had my nose broken and split open. I don't know how many times it shows. You get up and take it. I mean, you're a tougher person for it. I mean, I don't condone violence at shows, but I also wouldn't want to live in a scene where there wasn't even the threat of it, because this music isn't for everybody, and it becomes a family because not everybody can be a part of it. So as far as I'm concerned, the violence, while it does ruin a lot, it helps us maintain what we are. It helps us maintain what we do. And I don't want to see any fights in any shows, but I also don't want to see a time where this thing becomes so big and it loses its identity.